DJ Benny James, and welcome to the podcast. We have a very special guest in the studio today. His name is Rocky. Hey Rocky, how you doing?
Hi Benny, I'm doing all right.
Thank you for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. We don't know each other that much. We've only met a couple of times, but I feel that there's kind of a connection here, and that we may have more in common than we realize.
All right.
And you're a poet, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and we are recording out of Soundplex Studios in Merchantville. The building has so much history, and we're close to Camden. Did you grow up in Camden area?
I was born in Camden at Cooper Hospital, but I only stayed there 3 days, and then I moved with my parents to Haddonfield, yeah.
Okay, how long was you in Haddonfield for?
Till I was in probably grad school, I guess.
Okay, and then how long have you been living in Camden now?
Came to Camden the 18th of April in 75.
In 75. So some years, and I bet you've seen a lot of change in that area over that time.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I want to get into that a little bit later on. But I wanted to get you on this podcast because I found it fascinating. We have a mutual friend, Ralph, and he loves the arts and loves music, and he's always trying to connect people. And when he feels like the energy's right between people, he's like, I really feel like you should meet this person. And I think he has a way of understanding what people are offering to the community. And he thought that it would be great for me to meet you and do a podcast with you so people can find out more about you.
Uh-huh.
And also what I like to do on my show is I like to play music to break up the interview. And I always asked people what their favorite music is. Things that they just love or music that has inspired them. And you sent me some music as well. And your music selection was amazing, by the way. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's very eclectic. So we're going to play a song right here, and then we're going to get back and find out all about you and let my listeners know also how they can get in touch with you and how they can come to your shows and so much more, okay? But let's kick it off with a little bit of music here. This is Bob Marley, Is This Love?
Woohoo!
Every day and every night we'll be together.
Wow, absolute classic.
Oh, yes, I know, yes, I know, yes,
I see you're like me, you close your eyes and you go into your own zone when it comes to music.
Oh, yes, I know.
And Bob Marley was so prolific with his message, right, of peace, unity, and love.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's something that you do as well. When we first came to see you, it was funny, we came to a little poetry reading. You was doing some readings on Walt Whitman. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But when I first got there was like 3 or 4 people. And I was thinking, okay, is this it? Just a few people in the room. And then more and more people started to come, and more people came. And people were coming to you and saying they've traveled quite far to come and see you. Some people drove down from New York. And it seems like you have friends everywhere. And I've heard stories of you doing poetry and this standing room only. So why do you feel like you connect with people so well, and why do people connect with you so well?
I don't know. I don't know if it's my monkey puppet or what, but when I was younger, I didn't quite connect like that at all. And I don't know if it was the LSD or what, but something got me out of my shell. And I don't know, I just started talking to people. And my father was always kind of outgoing, but I didn't get along with him, so I didn't want to be too much like him. But then I kind of got out of that, and I became myself. And part of myself was being outgoing and talking to people and reacting to what they're maybe wearing or saying or whatever. Sometimes it gets me in a little trouble, but most of the time I ride my bicycle down the Ocean City boardwalk, and I have this monkey puppet, and I'm saying hi to everybody, and I can just hear this trail of laughter behind me, and it's just like so magical.
Yeah, the first time I met you at the Victor Pub, you introduced your monkey to me. Bongo, right, is his name?
Yes.
And you talked through him initially. And I don't know, I felt that maybe that was an icebreaker for you. Maybe it's a way for you to realize what type of a person that you're sitting across or dealing with, if that makes sense. Because I think if people can accept you for that initial introduction, you already know sort of that this person that you're going to be talking to is open, maybe loving, and wants to find out about your story.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know, because I'll walk by a little kid and I'll go with the monkey. I'll go, hello. And the kid will give me a dirty look.
Right.
And then I'll walk by a big truck driver looking guy. And I'll go, oh, hello, mister. And he'll go, oh, hello, little monkey. you never know who's going to react in what way. So
right.
You're right. It separates the people out that are going to, be monkey-worthy to talk to.
Monkey-worthy to talk to. I love that. Yeah, I definitely think so. Because there's a lot of people, I think, that could be put off by it. But then there's a lot of people that could be just very, very accepting. And it seemed like the first time I came down, met you, and then the second time I came down and saw the reading, the poetry, and my wife was there. I got to tell you, there was all these people that came far and wide to see you. And yet, during the break, you specifically singled out me and my wife, and you wanted to come and speak to us. I don't know if you remember, but you sat down and had a pizza with us.
Okay, yeah.
So to me, that said a lot about your character. Like, there's all these people that have come to see you, but because we were new, you wanting to find out about me, find out about Faye. That means a lot to me and tells me a lot about who you are as a person.
Oh.
So I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. The monkey told me to do it.
Okay. All right, we're going to talk more about Monkey. And I also want to talk about your poetry. I want to talk about your connection with Walt Whitman as well, because I know you do a lot of readings and poetry from Walt Whitman. I want to find out all about that as well. But let's play another one of your songs right here. This is an amazing one.
Oh, great.
Talking about being at the shore. You know this one.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then I watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay, 'cause I've had nothing to live for, and look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Look like nothing's gonna change, everything still remains the same. I can't do what 10 people tell me to do, so I guess I'll remain the same. Listen, sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. Listen, 2,000 miles I roam just to make this dock my home. Now I'm just gonna sit at the dock of a bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
Absolute classic, Otis Redding.
Oh my.
They don't make music like that no more, do they?
No. No, they don't.
Wow. Like I said, your music selection is just amazing. Thank you so much. So tell us, how did you get into poetry, and how did that whole start up? Why did you get into poetry?
Well, in 8th grade, we had to write a poem, and I wrote a poem, and I got a B-.
Okay.
And she said it was anticlimactic. Then in high school, I started learning a poem. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the level of each day's most quiet need. By sun and candlelight, I love thee purely as men strive for right. I love thee truly as they turn from wrong. Something to that effect. And that kind of impressed the girls. So,
Okay.
I guess at some point, probably in college, I started really writing poetry and taking writing classes, and then finally in San Francisco, I went to my first poetry reading, and it was a nice candlelit coffee house, and their candles, a lot of them were in front of me. As I stood up, I knocked the table over.
Okay.
And I thought I was going to start the next San Francisco fire.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, so then reading after that was kind of anticlimactic.
Okay.
But I did persevere, and I'm still actually writing today.
Okay. Talking about impressing the girls, are you married? Do you have any kids?
Thousands of kids in Camden. I've been teaching there since 75, so.
But you don't have any biological kids of your own?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But this girl in Camden, she was graduating from high school. She said, Mr. Rocky, you were my teacher in preschool and in first grade and second grade and fourth grade and fifth grade. And then in middle school, Mr. Rocky, you raised me up.
Right.
And that just lifted me right up off the planet.
Is that what keeps you going, the connection that you have with people and the feedback that you get from kids?
Yes, I would be like, have a terrible day substituting, and I'd be walking home, and I'd be going, I'm not going to sub anymore. I'm going to get out of Camden, do this and that. And then along come a kid, and they'll go, oh, Mr. Rocky, you were a substitute in 3rd grade. We didn't learn much, but we had a great time. And it would just lift me right up. I'd forget all about wanting to leave, and I'd be at work the next day with another bunch of kids.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
But you were never married?
No.
Is that by choice or?
The girl I asked to marry me said we'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
And she's been married twice since then, and I think on her third marriage, and I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see.
She's keeping you waiting too long, brother.
I think so.
All right, we're going to come back. I want to know about your poetry and why you do a lot of readings of Walt Whitman and who is he and why do you have that connection. But let's play this one by Aretha Franklin. You wanted something by Aretha Franklin, so here you go. Here's one of my favorites called Think.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. Let's go way on, way back when. I didn't even know you couldn't have been too much more than 10. I ain't no psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with degrees, but it don't take too much time to see what you're doing to me. You better think about what you're trying to do to me, yeah. Think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. Oh, freedom, freedom, oh, freedom, yeah, freedom, now freedom,
I love Aretha Franklin, definitely one of my favorite singers of all time. So inspirational and such an icon.
Yeah.
So I have an audience that's across the world. I think last year my largest audience was in South Africa. The year before that it was Tokyo. So it just moves all around the place. I don't know why. I don't understand these demographics. But who is Walt Whitman, first of all, for people that don't know? And why do you have that connection? Why do you do a lot of readings about him?
Walt Whitman was a poet. He lived in Long Island for 4 years. That's where he was born, and moved to Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, in 1855, he came out with his first book of poetry called Leaves of Grass. And it didn't get very good reviews. People likened him to a licentious pig, among other things, donkeys, sentimental donkeys. But finally, he got a great review. And when asked who wrote that review, he said, me. He said, well, I had to write a good review. Nobody else was. And finally, though, somebody did realize his genius. None other than Ralph Waldo Emerson, a poet and writer from Massachusetts. And he gave Whitman a big thumbs up. He said, I see great things for you. And that gave Whitman such a boost. And he just kind of went on from there and became like America's poet. His brother was in the Civil War, and Whitman went to the front lines because his brother had been wounded. And when he got there, the wound was very superficial. But Whitman started nursing soldiers.
Oh, wow.
And he would bring them little fruits or candies or whatever he could. He'd write letters home for them, to their families, and spent a good deal of his time there. And finally, when he left that place in Virginia where his brother had been slightly wounded, he went to Washington and wound up getting a job in Washington and working in the hospitals in Washington, nursing thousands and thousands of soldiers.
Wow.
And when he was like, I guess, 71 or so, they had a birthday party for him. And a black woman was cooking in the kitchen, and she came out. And she put her hand in his and said, thank you for nursing my husband, in the Civil War. And it was just like the best birthday present he could have gotten.
Wow. So why do you have a connection with him? Why do you just love his poetry? Is there more than that?
Well, I lived kind of near his house. I live only about 6 blocks from his house.
Okay.
And one time I walked by his house. There was a guy sitting on the step. He had a brown paper bag with a bottle in it. Is Walt home? I said. He said, oh, no, he went out for pizza 6 weeks ago and he never came back. So there were little connections like that. So I went into schools as I was subbing, and I just thought, I wonder if these kids know anything about Walt Whitman.
Right, because there's a bridge right there.
Exactly.
Camden, right? Walt Whitman Bridge, right?
Exactly.
It goes across from Philly to New Jersey.
Yes. So I just wrote the words Walt Whitman on the board. I said, kids, what's that mean to you? And they go, oh, Walt Disney. And then I go, no, but that's a good guess. Walt, he was a president? Walt. I said, no. And finally, just like you, this boy says, oh, he must have been a great man because they named him after that big bridge to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So at that point, I realized I had a mission.
Right.
To teach the kids about Walt Whitman. So the Walt Whitman house is open for tours and all, and they have comic books. They used to have comic books. I got a bunch of them. I used the comic books in reading groups. And then I tell the kids, well, I talked to Walt Whitman. He said he could come visit. I said, but he's pretty old, so let me go out of the room, go out in the hallway and see if I can see him. So I'd go out, and I had a bag out there with this old raggedy beard, a hat, like a cowboy hat, and a vest. I put that on with a handful of grass. I came in, the regular kind of grass. Yeah. And I said, kids, I'm looking for a Mr. Rockywilson. They said, oh, he's out looking for you. So I do some Walt Whitman for him, some of the poetry, and talk a little bit about his nursing and everything. And then I'd end with a barbaric yawp. I'd get the kids to do a barbaric yawp, and then I'd go out and do a quick change and come back in and say, kids, I'm sorry, I couldn't find him anywhere. And they go, you just missed him. He was just here. And this girl picks up the grass and she says, oh, but he left this grass. He said, you could sell this on eBay.
There you go.
I said, oh, perfect. So that was kind of my beginnings with Walt Whitman.
That's amazing. All right, well, I definitely want to talk to you about some more stuff here, find out more about you. And I know you're doing these poetry nights that have been going on for years and years and years, and it's so cool. I want to find out about that next. But let's play another one of your songs. Jimmy Cliff, Harder They Fall. Wow. Classic.
Ooh, the harder they come,
Love it, love it.
harder they fall. But I know.
Such good energy in that song, man. Such good energy. Love it. Love it, man.
yeah.
So tell me about your poetry night that Faye and I came to see. And you do some readings, like I said, and it starts off quiet and it gets busier and busier and busier. And you were telling me this has been going on for years. I couldn't believe the story. Tell us about this poetry night you do down in Camden.
Well, I was in Amherst, Massachusetts in July of 1994. That's where Emily Dickinson lived. They call her the mother of American poetry, and Whitman, of course, is the father. I spent a week up there with the Quakers at a conference, and I didn't get a chance to go to Emily Dickinson's house. So that morning, it was a Saturday morning, I got up early with the sun and walked down Praise Street and passed by Emily Dickinson's grave. It says born, and then it says called back, and it has her death date.
Okay.
So then I made my way to the house, and of course, it was all closed. It was just sunrise, and the garden was so beautiful where she worked for so many years, and this huge tree, and I just felt all this power there that I didn't think of, associate with Emily Dickinson before. And then I headed back to the conference, and then got a ride home with this woman who drove like a bat out of hell. But she got me home like 5:45.
Right.
Saturday evening. So I put on something to eat, and I switched on Prairie Home Companion with the Garrison Keeler. And he's telling this story, which I couldn't believe, about Emily Dickinson. Emily's in her house, and she gets a knock at the door, and she opens the door, and there's a pizza delivery guy. She could kind of fade in and out of reality. And she smelled the pizza. And he says, Wadsworth? And she said, no, this is the Dickinsons. And he says, oh, sorry. And got to run. We guaranteed delivery in 20 minutes. So he took off. So she called the pizza parlor and said, I want a pizza. What size? Immense.
Immense.
What do you want on it? I want butterflies, the wind. I want cardinal flowers. And they go, okay. So 20 minutes later, another knock at the door, and they got all this music, and there's horses and carriages, and there's pizza, and the guy has a big sword, and he slices the pizza for her, and she goes, oh. And well, the next morning when people came to visit the Emily Dickinson house, there was a distinct smell of onions and garlic.
Right.
That December, I thought, why don't we have a pizza and poetry party for Emily Dickinson?
Right.
That was just going to be a one-shot deal.
Right.
On her birthday in December.
What year was that?
That was 1994.
Okay.
And we had the party, and then I guess it went really well, and then somebody said, what are you going to do next month? And I didn't even think of that. I mean, It was just a one-time thing. So the pizza guy loved Edgar Allan Poe. So in January, we did Edgar Allan Poe. And then February, we did Edna St. Vincent Millay, who was from Camden, Maine. And we just kept going for 30 years. It's like, what?
So for 30 years, you've been doing this pizza and poetry night.
Yes, how did that happen? Oh, my God. I don't know.
Well, I think I have a theory of how it happened. Is people connect with you. They like you. And they're interested in what you have to say. You know, you're not a braggadocious guy, are you? You know, you're not a know-it-all kind of dude. You know? So people connect to that. And they feel comfortable around you and your friends. They feel part of a community, right?
Yes.
Even if it's just one night a month or 1 week or whatever, right?
Yes.
They connect with you and they feel part of a community.
They come all the way from New York City. The three wise men, we call them. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I saw them.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, we're going to play another one of your songs here. I never heard this one before. It's called Rock My Soul. I couldn't get the artist that you wanted, but I got another one by Louis Armstrong, actually. I think you might like this one.
Why don't you rock my
Oh, my
soul
God.
in a bosom of air?
Why don't you rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham? Why don't you rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham? Oh, rock my soul. I would not be a sinner. Oh, I'll tell you the reason why. So I'm afraid my Lord might call me. Great God. And I wouldn't be ready to die. He really wants you rock my soul. My soul. Why don't you rock my soul? I would not be a liar. I'll tell you the reason why. So I'm afraid my Lord might call me. Great God. And I wouldn't be ready to die. He really wants you rock my soul. My soul. Why don't you rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham? Why don't you rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham? Oh, rock my soul. I would not be a backbiter. Oh, I'll tell you the reason why. So I'm afraid my Lord might call me. Great God. And I wouldn't be ready to die. He really wants you round my soul.
Wow, wow. The very, very unique and distinctive voice of Louis Armstrong.
Oh, wow.
His voice is incredible, man. I like that song too. Thank you for introducing that song to me.
Well, we did a show, Walt Whitman and Me, we called it. And in the second half of the show, the Walt Whitman part, talking about Abraham Lincoln. And Whitman loved Lincoln. And there's this story at a White House party. This mother and her little boy were there. And the mother went to get some punch. And when she came back, the little boy was sitting in Abraham Lincoln's lap. So the mother was horrified. She went up to grab the boy, and Abe Lincoln said, "No, no, no, leave him there. This is one child who could truly say he was rocked in the bosom of Abraham." So we played that song in the show. It was really
Love it. So going back to your night, the pizza and poetry night,
yeah.
and the different readings that you do, you don't have a website, right? Are you on Facebook? How do people find out about these events that you do?
Through Benny's podcast.
Yeah, well, this is a new one, right? This is this is another stream here. But is it mostly word of mouth? I mean, how do people get to find out?
I do have some emails of people. At one point, the whole list disappeared, so now it's kind of catch can. But
Right.
then I put it on Facebook, and then I guess the only other way would be word of mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
I put up flyers a little bit, but that doesn't reach a lot of people.
Well, what I'll do is in the show notes, I'll put a link to your Facebook page so people can see what you're doing. I don't really want to give out your phone number, but I'll put a link so people can find out where you are and then come and experience what Faye and I did there. I wish we could have stayed for the second part. Actually, we had to go. We had a meeting that we had to be at, so we had to leave halfway through. And it was just, the energy was just really, really building at that point. So, but let me tell you what was funny. When we met today, I've got to mention this real quick. We're both wearing Hawaiian shirts, both with bananas. I got bananas on mine. You got bananas on yours. It's like, no way that could have happened. Like, really? It just shows you, like I was talking about, the connection the universe has for people sometimes. It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
One question I will ask you, do you have any regrets in life that you wish you would have done something different? Or
I regret I didn't tell you to play the Frank Sinatra song. I have regrets. There are a few.
Okay.
Well, I talk about that in my book. I was sorry that I never really put much energy into a job opportunity in dance when I would have got to dance with a beautiful Russian girl named Natasha. And,
Okay.
I regret I didn't leave my book of word pollution at the publishers in New York. I just took it back. And I regret. And this gave me the title for my book of poetry. I regret leaving my father's side at the hospital in Mount Holly. He had had a stroke almost a week before, and I was sitting by his side, and I looking at my bus schedule and looking at my father and looking at the bus schedule, and I just went for the bus because it was the last bus to Camden. And my father died early that morning. You know, I could have stayed there, but I didn't.
Right.
So that's the title of my book of poetry, The Last Bus to Camden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, thanks.
Can people order that book? Where can they read that book? Where can they get their hands on that book?
Moonstone Press in Philadelphia.
Moonstone Press. Is there a link for that? Can I put that link in the show notes as well?
Sure.
Okay.
It should be in the book. I have the book with me, yeah.
Okay.
There's a bookstore in Camden that has it, and a bookstore in Haddonfield that has it.
Well, I'm sure I can figure that out and add that in the show notes below so people can get a copy of that. Okay. Maybe we can work on a digital copy for you as well. But let's play another song here.
All right.
One of your favorites. Another one of Bob Marley's. Three Little Birds, this one's called. Don't Worry.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, "This is my message to you." Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Saying don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, "This is my message to you." Meaning don't worry about a thing. Worry about a thing, oh, every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry, saying don't worry about a thing. I won't worry, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing.
That's what we need to do, right? We need to not worry about too much stuff, right? Go with the flow, right? Amen, amen. So let me ask you, I was asking you earlier on in the show when we first opened up about Camden and how much it's changed. I said I'd come back to that. So you've been living in that area for many, many years. What changes have you seen?
The whole RCA building where they made all those televisions and all those parts for electronics and everything, that was in full swing when I moved there in 75. Then slowly it started to fade out and they deserted that building. Then I'd walk by and instead of like my friends that worked there shouting to me or passing me by on their way to the bar that was across the street from my house.
Right.
There would be a cold wind blowing out of that building, it was kind of eerie and sad. And then finally, I forget his name. He bought the building, big builder, refurbished it and made it into apartments. And then on the ground floor was they put a bar in and all these kind of things, and it was just gorgeous. And it was like a dream, Did all this really happen? And it's only like a block and a half from my house, and the bar has a whole lot of paraphernalia from the Victor Talking Machine Company.
Which is, this building is part of that, right?
Yes, this was the building where they did all that.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, it was, and the nipper's still up there on the top. And at one point, that was like the glass was broken, and it was really in disarray. So it was really nice to see the whole thing come back like that on the riverfront. And what a boost it gave Camden, and now it's like my second home. So,
yeah. Because when I first thinking about moving to Camden, close to Collingswood, I Googled Camden. I wanted to find out about it. And it said that back in the day, Camden used to be the murder capital of the USA. And there's a lot of fear-mongering. People saying, don't move to Camden, don't move to Camden. Camden's really, really horrible, really bad, right? I love where I live. I live in a multicultural street. Everybody's friendly with each other. Everybody helps each other out. It's like old school. Kids play on the street. We love the local police, fire brigade. Like everybody knows each other, and we love it. You have the same experience where you live and growing up there?
Well, I had a lot of different experiences. We had a great block party where all the kids would dance, and the mayor, Gwen Faison, she used to come and dance with us, and it just felt good to have that community there. And kids visit me at my house, and they come in and they see my rotary phone, and they go, this was a little while ago, but they go, oh, look at that. Can I call my mom on that phone? I said, yeah, go ahead. Like I went out to the suburbs. I grew up in Haddonfield, as I said, and walking around, and you didn't see anybody.
Yeah.
Even on it was a nice day. It wasn't like wintertime or anything. I didn't see anybody. It was like, where are the people? And like Camden, I walk by a lady on her stoop. I say, hey, do you have a car? And she held up her feet. She says, yeah, 2 Cadillacs. They're good on gas and they take me pretty far. The people are there and the life, and it's just so different. And,
right.
The suburbs has maybe the beauty and the more trees and everything, but it's the soul, I think.
It's the soul, yeah.
It's the soul that's there in Camden.
And I think going back to your poetry nights, I noticed that the different people that come from all walks of life, right? All races, religions, young, old, right? And Camden encompasses that as well, right? And that's how I grew up in an area called Notting Hill Gate in London. Very similar as well, right? And with everything that's going on today, I don't want to get into the nooks and crannies of politics, but there's so much division just in the world, period, right? When I come to visit you or people like you, just little glimpses of hope that maybe one day we can be unified. Do you think that's even possible? Like the John Lennon's Imagine song, right? Do you think we'll ever get there?
So, this boy, it was my birthday, I think, and my friend Mary made a cake, and they knocked on the door, and we've been getting a lot, I guess, probably a lot of kids knocking on the door. And I got mad, and I opened the door to yell at them, and there she's holding my birthday cake. And the boy's looking at me, and Later on, that boy said he was Puerto Rican. He said, Mr. Rocky, you're the only white man that's ever been nice to me. I don't know.
Well, that's a start, right? That's a start right there. I've been talking about this a lot. On the end of my show, I always say, love your neighbor, man. Love your neighbor. I think, personally for me, I think it's all about exposure. The things that I've been fearful in the past, different cultures, different religions, different colors or whatever, right? Sexual preference or whatever, right? When you get exposed to that, you realize there's nothing to be scared of. Everybody just basically wants the same thing, right? We all want the same thing. We want a happy life. We want our families to be healthy and happy, and we want a good job. And, we basically want the same stuff. There's a lot to be said for that. So that little boy coming to you, that really touched you, made you realize, I've had some experiences like that before as well, where it's like, wow, wake up call,
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get there one day, man. Hopefully we can get there where, we stop this division in the country and across the world, and we can stop all these damn wars, and we can be in a place where we actually, love on each other instead of hate.
Right.
But that's about our time, unfortunately. Wow.
What? No.
Yeah. I could talk to you all day. Maybe you can come back again and we'll do another one, man. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate. Look, we don't even really know each other, and you've put trust in me to help tell your story, and I am really honored. Really, truly honored for you coming today and just getting to know you as another human being that has such great core values. I appreciate you and what you're doing to try and make this crazy world just a little bit better.
Oh, thanks a lot, Benny. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to play one more, and don't forget, everybody, I'm going to put some links in the show notes below, and feel free to reach out to me as well if you want to contact Rocky directly and maybe support what he's doing in any way, shape, or form. And I'll get that message to Rocky as well. I'm going to play the last one. His Eye is on the Sparrow, which you requested as well. I'm going to play the Whitney Houston version because this is a really nice version, great quality. And I just wanted to thank everybody for listening. And please share as well. Share this podcast with your family and friends, in this show to help Rocky and whatever he's doing as well. So, Rocky, thank you once again, my man. I appreciate you coming.
What about Walt Whitman? He has a few last words.
Oh, Walt Whitman.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
The spotted hawk swoops by, complains of my gab and my loitering. I, too, am not a bit tamed. I, too, am untranslatable. I sound my barbaric yawp over the rooftops of the world. Walt Whitman, song on myself.
Love it. I think we're going to have you back, my friend. I want to go over your poetry as well, obviously. I would love to hear more.
Oh, great.
Like I said, I will put a link down below, though, about your book. Just thank you again for coming in. Appreciate it. Appreciate the energy, man. That was awesome. Your stories are amazing. Can't wait for you to come back, man. We'll do this again.
Oh, thanks a lot, Benny. Look forward to it.
All right, let's play this one. Thank you all so much for joining us, and have an amazing weekend ahead, amazing week. Be safe, be well, and of course, aloha.
Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Lord, why should my heart feel lonely? And long for heaven home. Yes. When Jesus is my portion. know He watches over me. Yeah. Hey, I sing because I'm happy. Hallelujah. I sing because I'm free. I'm free. I know His eye. His eye is on the sparrow. Oh, yes, He is. I know He watches, thank you, Lord, over me.